Welcome to Lighting for Profits.
All light, all light, all light.
Powered by Emery Allen.
Get rid of your excuses.
Your number one source for all things landscape lighting.
That's where the magic can happen. You can really scale a business.
We really had to show up for each other.
From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing.
You're a scaredy cat salesman, Kurt.
We discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What do you think a hippo has to do with your business, Ryan?
Usually it's some weird childhood thing. Some bully kicks your butt.
I think the key factor here is trust.
Here is your host, Ryan Lee.
All light, all light, all light. What is up? It's Lighting for Profits, powered by Emery Allen. Happy Independence Day and happy 4th of July. It's America's birthday. It's always America's favorite, at least Northern Utah County's favorite. Sometimes Canada's favorite show. Today, it's definitely not England's favorite show. Have fun working, England. Just kidding. I know we've got some listeners in England, and we love you. We still love you. Guys, I'm really excited to be here. I was thinking, you know what? Do I take the day off? And yeah, I took the day off, but should I do the podcast? And quite honestly, I love America and I love landscape lighting. So why not do the show? Right. So I'm excited to be here. And I was actually trying to get some other people to come on. I wanted some veterans to come on. You know, it's a very patriotic holiday, but one of them informed me that it was America's barbecue hour at 5 Eastern on the 4th of July. And I thought, damn, that's so true. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to harass people to come on, but I still want to do the show because I do love America. What's up, Chris? America. I love everything. Not everything about America, but like most things, you know, but I love this holiday. I love holidays in general. You know, you get the day off. So, but I love landscape lighting. I love America. I love Lighting for Profits. I love doing the show. So the show must go on. And to be honest, in the next few weeks, I've got some travel coming up. And I'm not sure. I think we're missing a couple episodes here and there. So I was like, you know what? I don't have a life. I'll do the show. So this is America's favorite landscape lighting show. So we're here to educate and motivate to help you dominate. I can't tell you how grateful I am every single week I get to do this show. By the way, since I've started asking for 5-star reviews, I've been getting 5-star reviews. So thank you. Thank you very much. And I don't even know who to thank because like the username comes across weird in most cases. So whoever you are giving me 5-star reviews on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it is that you can do, I'm really grateful. So thank you so much. And 4th of July, I mean, here in Utah, it's crazy, you guys. It used to be banned. Like when I grew up here, you couldn't just light off huge fireworks and aerials, as they call them, in the sky. And people would drive to Evanston, Wyoming, where you could buy them legally. And then they'd come here and like do some illegally. But now you can buy these fireworks like right down the street and everybody's popping them off in the sky. And it's crazy because it's like a war zone going on. And it seems really dangerous because, you know, people don't know what they're doing. All you need is a box to tip over or worse, some of the ashes, you know, come down and land on the house and burn down the neighborhood. But it's wild. It's like the Wild West out here. So I don't know what it's like around the rest of the country. In Texas, it was definitely illegal and we'd still, you know, do it. But it's just when it's legal, there's just a lot of it going on. So it's fun. It's awesome. My neighbors were blasting them off last night and it was cool. So anyway, we got a really cool show. We're going to be talking about freedom. I mean, that's what this is all about, right? And we're going to talk about freedom in your business, right? And I've got the Freedom Formula. That's right. I'm going to be sharing with you the Freedom Formula. And we're going to see if it works for you in your business. And honestly, it's proven to be successful, but you have to manage the inputs, right? And that's the hardest thing, obviously, is getting up in the morning and doing what you're supposed to do every day, not what you necessarily want to do, right? So I mentioned a couple things coming up with travel. So July 19th through the 21st, I'll be in Cincinnati at the Haven Lighting. It's their first annual Smart Outdoor Conference. They're launching their new their training center. Thing looks epic. So I've just gotten like a video walkthrough of it, but that's going to be killer. So I'll be there hanging out for a couple days. And then I'm leaving directly from there, and I'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina, July 21st, 22nd for the Lights for Decorators. They're putting on a free training for holiday lighting and landscape lighting. And I'll be there for the last 2 days, which is landscape lighting, the 21st, 22nd. But if you want to go, I'm gonna put these links here real quick. So if you're listening to the podcast later, just go find me on Facebook or YouTube, and you can find these links. Or just hit me up on Messenger, and I can share them with you. I've had some people do that, so that's not a big deal either. Just hit me up on Messenger or send me an email at support@ryanleecoaching.com. So they're two awesome events. Happy to support them. And I love getting together with other people in the lighting community and sharing war stories and stuff like that. So also, just as a quick reminder, still looking for 100 donations for our 100th episode. And we're on past 100 episodes, but I'm still looking for those 100 donations. And I'm extremely grateful if you do it, even if it's $5. It doesn't really matter the amount. We've had some very generous people, which I'm very grateful for, but it's seva.org that we're trying to help out. And they basically help people see again. So imagine losing your vision. Imagine not being able to see. And lighting is such a visual experience. I love it so much. And I can't imagine not being able to see. And so they do these very simple cataract surgeries. And for just $50, they can give someone sight again. And sight restores so many things. It helps people get back on their feet. It helps them actually provide for themselves. So it helps poor people not be poor. It helps so many different things. So it's a really, really cool foundation. So I put the link as well. Again, if you're looking to donate, we're just looking for 100 people to make a donation. You can also hit me up on Messenger or shoot me an email. All right. So before we get started, we got to thank our sponsor, Emery Allen, and they've been a great partner for us, and just extremely grateful for them. Oh, what's that? What's the best way to stand out of the crowd? Well, being different. Set yourself apart from others in the lighting industry and impress your customers by installing Emery Allen bulbs in your next project. You'll discover a higher level of quality across the board, from the bulbs themselves to the top tier customer support you can expect to get if you have any issues or questions. Right now is the great time to make the switch. What do you have to lose? Just email Tom G at emeryallen.com for more info. Remember, they offer discounted contractor pricing. So email Tom G at emeryallen.com. Get your account set up today. Oh, yeah. Just be different, guys. Just be different. Go get some Emery Allen. And I'm telling you, Tom G at emeryallen.com. Use that email. Don't go to their website because you're going to save a lot of money. Just mention you heard about him here on Lighting for Profits. All right. Again, happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. And today we're going to talk about freedom. Okay. We got to celebrate. We're celebrating our freedom. And it really is an awesome country. I know there's a lot of crap that goes down that's not awesome and stuff like that, but it really is a cool country. You think about all the freedoms that we do have. It's pretty dang awesome. So today what I want to do is celebrate our freedom in business, right? And I really want you to reflect a little bit internally, like, why did you start your business? Okay, we all start our businesses for different reasons, but why are you doing what you do now? Like, do you really love what you do now? Do you really feel free? Because I feel like freedom is kind of that common denominator. There's a lot of reasons to start a business, but we all kind of have one similar goal. Like, we don't want to work 24/7, right? We want freedom, right? And unfortunately, I found myself falling into that trap of I felt like I was in prison, right? I'm like, if I leave, my business can't function without me. Maybe I can leave for a few days. Maybe I could leave for a week, but I definitely couldn't leave it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Really just a few hours at one point, right? And so how free are we as entrepreneurs? Because it should be one of the things that we're chasing. Usually we worked for someone else. We got sick of it. We thought we could be a better boss, whatever it is. And so a lot of us are self-employed. And even in my business now, Landscape Lighting Secrets, I'm self-employed. Like I take a paycheck, right? I am my own boss, but I'm not necessarily an entrepreneur. Now I've got another business that I don't do anything in. And yeah, I'm an entrepreneur because I literally just like get mailbox money, right? But with Landscape Lighting Secrets, like I am back in the trenches, right? And I'm always working on replacing myself. So A month ago, I hired an integrator. I'm so excited, and she's amazing. She's only been here a month, so we still are like working on things. And of course, I want to go like hyper speed. And she's like, "Well, we got to get organized." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's why I hired you." But she's amazing, right? And this is one step closer to me replacing myself and giving me that freedom that I want, right? And so, freedom is really just defined by like if you do what you want to do when you want to do with those that you want to do it with, well, that sounds like freedom to me, right? So what I wanted to do was share with you what I came up with is the freedom formula. By the way, if any of you guys are live, I thought I would try this. If any of you are live and you want to do a phone a friend, I think we could try it. You just text me, and or if you don't have my number, message it here on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever, and it should pull up your number, and I'll try calling you. If you want to have a conversation about your freedoms and things you're doing today or things you're doing to work on your business, if you want to come on the show, it doesn't have to be the whole time. You can just jump on for like 5 or 10 minutes. We got the Bluetooth, we got the stuff, we got the technology. So if you're up for it, hit me up. Okay, so listen, if you want freedom in your business, there's actually a lot you have to do, so it's kind of a little bit overwhelming. But I decided to simplify it to give you this freedom formula because honestly, I figured out that business is just a giant math equation. And when you can solve the equation, you get freedom, right? And some people's equations look differently. And that's when you can start to improve efficiencies and things like that. But it's basically a matter of your inputs resulting in certain outputs, right? And so some people have to get 100 leads to get 10 customers. Some people only have to get 50 leads to get those same 10 customers, right? Some people only have to get 20 leads to get 10 and so on. So everyone's math equation is a little bit different, but it's just a math equation. So if you have to get 100 leads to get 10 clients and you want to get 100 clients, then you need 1,000 leads. I mean, that's just what it comes down to, right? Or you decide to get more efficient and say, well, what could I do better from a sales standpoint to reduce that ratio? So I only need to get 500 leads to be able to get 100 customers, right? It really is that simple. Now, it's a little bit different when it comes to execution because then you got to improve your sales process, right? But lucky for you, we're going to talk about the freedom formula right now. So there's a lot of different things. I mean, when it comes to business, right? And if you're listening to this and you've had a business for longer than like a few hours, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. There's marketing and sales. There's profits, which most of you don't have very many of, right? There's scaling. There's systems. There's branding. There's training, retention, recruiting, operations, customer service, HR, answering the phones, payroll, innovation, right? And each of these categories has like a bunch of subcategories underneath them, right? What's up, Chuck? KPIs are important. Reverse engineering. Exactly. And that's really what reverse engineering is just solving the math equation. Like, remember, I think it was algebra. I don't know. I swear I help my kids with stuff. And I'm like, how did that? I don't remember learning this. You got to solve for X, solve for Y, whatever. That's what you're doing in business. Like find the problem and solve it. And the best entrepreneurs, the most profitable, the wealthiest people, the people that have the most freedom are the ones that can solve the problems. Okay. It's too easy to get stuck working in your business and then you don't solve any problems because you don't have time. You literally don't have time. You're just putting out fires. But if you can solve the problem so that you prevent the fire from even starting, that is when you experience freedom. Right. And the most successful people out there, it's just a common denominator. They're good at solving problems and they dedicate time to work on their business every single week. Doesn't mean that just, like if you're like wanting to be lighting designer of the year, doesn't mean that you can't be the lighting designer, right? But solve the other problems, right? And we're actually going to talk about that, how to replace yourself. So that's part of the freedom formula. So, all right, if you're ready for the freedom formula, I'm ready. Let's give it to you. So here it is. Freedom equals, so you want freedom. Here's what it equals. Marketing plus sales divided by operations plus customer service times scale. All right. Now, this is a hard equation because it's not like you're going to have real numbers like marketing equals 5, sales equals 6, divided by this, whatever. But let's break down the freedom formula and you'll understand what we're talking about. So, by the way, you guys, I have not done this. My wife, actually, Lindsay, reminded me today. She's like, you promote all these other people. You've had all these guests on your show. You promote them and they call you later and they text you and they say, thanks, man. We got like lots of leads and you help grow our business, but you don't do anything to grow your business. So I do want to remind you, I do have a coaching business. Okay. So if you want a free strategy session, absolutely free strategy session with me, just go to landscapelightingsecrets.com and watch the case study. If you think it's a good fit, and you think, well, maybe I should do this, schedule a call with me. It's absolutely free. It's 45 minutes. Sometimes it goes an hour and a half. But if you need it to be 20 minutes, we'll do 20 minutes, whatever it is. Schedule that. It's landscapelightingsecrets.com. So I do got to do a better job at that, right? Honestly, I was thinking about why I haven't promoted myself on the show. Well, number one, I'm always like a lead with value kind of guy, right? And I'm like, well, when you're ready, I'll reach out. But I do believe, just like I think that everybody needs landscape lighting, like they need it. They don't want it. They need landscape lighting. They need it from you. They need it from you today. I also believe that you need landscape lighting secrets from me today, right? I do believe that, but I've been a little bit overwhelmed. But now with the hiring of my integrator, I mean, she is taking a ton off my plate. Now I have some more time, which is our freedom, which I didn't have before. So I can open up more spots. So anyway, I'm excited. If you want to do a free strategy session with me, just go to landscapelightingsecrets.com and you can schedule with me from that page. So yes, sir. What's up, Greg? Happy Independence Day. It's such a good shirt for the 4th of July. So, and I had an old one but Garden Light hooked us up at our last Landscape Lighting Live right here with these new ones, and it's nice and shiny red and everything. So, yeah. All right, so let's go back to the freedom formula. Marketing plus sales divided by operations plus customer service times by scale. All right, so let's break down each one of those and figure out exactly what you can do starting today, right now, to get freedom from your business, right? This is going to be huge, you guys. If you can break this down, this is going to be huge for you. So let's start with marketing. So marketing, there's a lot of subcategories, a lot of different things you can do here. And I'm going to be honest with you, almost everybody I talked to recently is struggling right now with getting leads. They're struggling with getting high quality leads. They're struggling with marketing. And this is why it's the first phase of the freedom formula. It starts with marketing, you guys. It starts really with branding. And branding is like paramount. And most of you have terrible brands and it sucks. I'm sorry, right? But if you can work on your branding, it's a long-term play. It may not generate you a lead today. Like if I didn't have a brand or a logo or anything, you don't have to do that. Like I could go knock on a door. I could call someone. Like I could generate a landscape lighting job today in any market, right? Without a brand. But that's very short term. It's short sighted. Like you need to think long term. So you need to always be working on your brand because your brand is something that's going to pay off time and time again. So what is marketing? So it starts with branding. Uniforms, believe it or not, uniforms, right? It all goes back to that branding, right? That cohesiveness. When you show up to someone's a client's house to do the work, it needs to look like the same person, the same company that they called on the phone. They saw their website. They saw their wrap trucks. Wrap trucks is another one, right? So some of you don't even have wrap trucks. And I'm not going to name names, but I've got clients doing 7 figures without wrap trucks. So again, it would be easy to make the excuse of like, well, I don't really need it. I'm doing well without it. But my question is, how well could you be doing if you did have wrap trucks? So if you're doing $1 million a year, you wrap those trucks, how much is your business going to increase because of that? And when I say wrap truck, I don't mean like a phone number and a logo. Like you really need this thing to speak quality and red carpet, white glove experience, all relating back to that brand. Okay. Chuck, by the way, has awesome wraps, right? I've seen his wraps and they're awesome, right? And I'm sure he could quantify how much business he's gotten from it, right? So if you don't have a wrap truck or you've got one and it's old or it doesn't look good, invest the money into it. I promise you, this is something that will just pay off like every single day, right? Going back to the basics. Last week we talked about kind of going back to the basics. Well, how many of you are putting out yard signs on every single job? Now, a lot of you might say, "Yeah, I do that." Well, I'm saying every single job, because I used to show up and we would put them out on every single job too, and then I would show up and check on my guys, and guess what wasn't out in the front yard? A yard sign. And they had all sorts of excuses. Well, we left it at the shop. We ran out. We were going to put it up in a minute, like whatever, right? No, every single time. And you may say, well, we don't need to put it up. We got our wrap truck. Well, what happens when your wrap truck goes to lunch, goes home, whatever, right? It's not going to be parked out front every single day, right? Other excuses. I had salespeople would tell me, well, I don't want to put it out because we're doing the backyard and their front yard lighting looks like crap. I don't want it to look like we did it. I don't care. Put it out every single time, right? Because people don't know that the lighting looks like crap. If you've ever noticed that, people paid for that, right? And besides, not everyone's going by at night and evaluating and judging it. Like they're just driving by during the day at 5 on the way home from work. That's when they're going to see your yard sign. It's not going to be at 10:30 at night. They're going to see it during the day. So don't worry if you're not doing the lighting in the front or you haven't done the job yet. As soon as you can, get that yard sign out. If you're complaining that leads are slow right now, are you putting out yard signs, right? And usually the answer is no. I'm like, oh, there you go. Start doing that. What up? What up? Happy Independence Day, 4th of July. Door hangers. This is like the same thing as yard signs, but it's not. Okay. So if you're like, well, we're putting out yard signs, we don't need to do door hangers. Yes, you do. Go put them 5 around, right? If you got time and you're slow, do 10 around, do 20 around. And if you got even more time and you're even slower, knock on the door. Introduce yourself. Hey, I want to give you my card. If there's any issues with the crew or any cleanup or anything, give me a call. We do a really good job, but just wanted to make sure you had my number in case there was anything that you need, right? Wait, what do you do? Oh, yeah, we're doing their lighting. We're adding beauty, safety, security. We're helping with their mental health. What? Lighting? Yeah, and then you do your little pitch, right? Marketing also consists of advertising, right? So what are you doing to advertise? A lot of people that are slow right now are not online. They have weak website presence. And even if they do have an awesome website, they're not on social media. Some people say, well, I tried Facebook ads. It didn't work for me. Well, are you posting in the groups? Are you posting in the neighborhood groups? Let's say you're going to get a new design for your truck wrap. What if you went into that Facebook group and said, hey, we're working on a new design and we want to get some feedback from the community. Which design would you go with? Right? You're not selling landscape lighting. You're just asking for their opinion. Naturally, you're going to get some leads. So there's a right way and a wrong way to do this stuff, but make sure you're constantly on social media. Direct mail. Who's using direct mail, right? And if you tried it once, it didn't work. Well, that's your problem, right? Because you got to do it consistently. You got to keep doing it over and over and over. That's the only way that direct mail works. And finally, strategic partnerships. Strategic partnerships. So who's your dream client, right? So think about, who do you want to work for? Do you want to do $10,000 jobs? Do you want to do $50,000 jobs? Do you want to do $250,000 jobs? Do you want to do $1 million job? I mean, I don't know. Everyone's different. Everyone's market's different. But where do those people hang out? Who do they know, right? The one thing that's common amongst all those, doesn't really matter what size job you want to do, is they all have a relationship with other contractors. They all have an interior, well, they don't all, but a lot of people have either an interior designer, a realtor, a home builder, a pool builder, a landscaper, an AV company, right? There's all these people out there, artificial turf, hardscaping company, all these people out there that already have a relationship with your client. So just get in front of them, find the traffic, step in front of it. A lot of you guys are not in front of the traffic, and that's why you don't have leads, right? So I start a business today. I'm going to go find that traffic and I'm going to let it hit me, right? You don't have to go and find these one-off situations. There's traffic out there. You just got to find where that busy road is and step in front of it. This last week, this was on Wednesday night, I was talking to a client and they were in need of some money. I'm not going to get too specific here, but they needed about $8,000. Okay. And I was like, well, what's the problem? And they're like, well, we don't know how to get it. I'm like, well, I do. What do you mean? Well, let me tell you. So I was like, but are you sure you only need eight grand? I'm like, well, yeah, actually, we oh, you know what? You just reminded we could reach out to this customer and then we could collect their thing for 8,000. I'm like, no, that's old money. Let's generate new money. And I said, actually, you don't need 8 grand. You need to generate 16 grand if you want to make 8 grand. So they're like, oh, well, that would be better, but we don't know how to do 8. I was like, all right, well, when do you need this money by? And it was about, this was Wednesday, and I think they need it by like the following, like, it would be this coming Friday. So like, 7 to 10 days, something like that. And I was like, all right. So they said, well, the problem is, yeah, we need it by then, but we're going to be out of town next week. I'm like, okay, well, if you gave me like 10 days to generate 16 grand, that's easy. 2 days, that's a little bit harder, but still, nonetheless, we got this. So we started peeling back the onion. As I asked them, and they kind of came up with their own solutions. And this is what a lot of the coaching kind of looks like sometimes. I'm like, what did you do last time that you were slow? Well, we reached out to our clients. Well, how many clients do you have? Well, they had 500 clients over the past few years, and they'd done landscaping and lighting and stuff like this. And I'm like, okay, so what happened when you reached out to your clients last time? Well, we did an email and we got 2 jobs. Okay, well, could we do that now? Yeah, we could. Okay, and what happened after you got those 2 clients? Did you reach out to the other 5 or 498 people again? No, because we got busy and spring hit and all this. Well, if you're not reaching out to your existing clients, you guys, you're missing out. I mean, this is the gold mine. This is like what you're missing out on. So reach out to your existing clients. Then there's more. There's more gold. All right. There's more gold. There's more freedom out there for you. What about your previous bids? What about your previous people that never got back to you? Did they tell you, no, don't call, I'm getting a restraining order? Or did they just not answer your phone call? Right. They're busy. These are wealthy people. They're probably in the islands right now. They're probably selling on a yacht. Who knows? But they're busy. So just because they didn't answer your phone call doesn't mean they're not interested. And I found over the years that in a lot of cases, if they didn't call me back, it wasn't because they went with someone else. They just hadn't done anything yet. And by my persistence of that discipline of following up, I had the longest one was 2 years. Right. I called someone for 2 years and they finally answered. And they're like, yep. They acted like it hadn't been 2 years. They're like, oh yeah, hey, glad you called. Yeah, when can you come? And I'm like, really? Are you going to pretend like you didn't avoid me for 24 months? But they do that. And they don't even know that it was 24 months. They probably thought it was like, a couple days. But they're interested. So follow up with them. And so we put together this plan. Basically, we spent about an hour really putting together a plan of like, okay, how they're going to generate the $16,000. So I was like, text me tomorrow when you're done. Right. And they technically had like 2 days. It was Wednesday night. So they had Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I said, text me tomorrow when you're done. Kind of kidding, but kind of serious. And they text me the next day and they're like, dude, we followed up with some people. We got 80, I think it was 8,900, or I'm making up the number. It was 8,000 or something like that. So I'm like, sweet, halfway there. Then on Friday, they got like another small job and it was like 12,000. And then on Saturday, they text me or emailed me at that point, and they got to 15,900 or 15,700 something. It was very, very close. Now, it wasn't 16,000. So why am I sharing the story if it didn't have the happy ending? Well, it did have a happy ending. It was amazing. Okay. Because if they would have set the goal, it would have been for 8,000 and they would have got that the first day and they would have stopped. But I challenged them. I had them set their goal higher at 16 and they only got to 15,700, which happened to be $7,700 more than their original goal. Right. So the thing I want to share with you is, one, you've got so much opportunity right in front of you. And before you start spending money on all this advertising and everything else, harness the relationships that you have in front of you. All these people that have already spent money with you will spend again, and they'll refer you to others. They want you to be in business because, after all, who's going to be around to service their lights and give them warranty and all these other things, right? So take advantage of the opportunity. And when you're setting goals and you need money, set your goals way bigger than you think is possible. Because if you set your goal and you say, well, I want to increase my sales by a couple $100,000 this year, and let's say you only increase it by 150 to 200, you're going to stop. You're going to slow down at some point. Your mind takes over. You land a couple big deals and you're like, yeah, we're going to hit it. We're on track. But if you say, no, I want to increase it by $750,000 this year, and you only increase it by 500,000 or 600,000, well, that's way better than 200, right? So set your goals way higher than what you think is even possible. Ryan, the quote I got from you that is amazing, and I repeat it a lot because I needed to hear it, is, I can't read. It is, his fortune in the follow-up. Oh, yes, fortune is in the follow-up. And actually, Well, it's almost perfect timing because we are going to talk about that. But I don't know if it's right now. Okay, so that's pretty much marketing, you guys. Of the freedom formula, that is marketing. Like if I had a business right now and I'm struggling or I'm starting or whatever, I'm going to focus on all the stuff I just said. And that can be, it's not just like you do it over the next 2 days and done. Like you're always doing that, right? So focus on those things. That's marketing. Now we need to add to that the sales. So we got the interest, we got the lead, we got the people, right? Now we talk about sales. So sales, there has to be a process. I mean, everybody I talk to that hasn't gotten to the next level, there's no sales process, right? And they just kind of wing it and, they're like, well, I know how to do this. I'm a good designer and I've been doing this for a while and it kind of sells itself. I've heard people say that. Lighting does not sell itself. In fact, almost nothing sells itself. You need to be good at persuasion. And even the best lighting designers in the world, okay, even if you have an amazing portfolio, when you watch these people and talk to them, they're still good at persuasion. They're persuading these people and showing them that their life will be changed by adding lighting, right? So they're not selling anything either, but they are persuading. So you need a process, you need persuasion, you need to work on your pricing. Okay. Pricing, I could go off on like 4-hour tangent right now, and I'm not going to, but I just talked to these guys and they just joined my program on Friday wait, it might have been yesterday. It was yesterday. It was literally yesterday. I thought yesterday was Friday, I guess, because today's a holiday and it feels like Saturdays, but it was yesterday. So it was a couple of brothers that were partners and then their other like main guy or whatever. And really, really cool guys. And we were talking about the sales process and pricing and stuff like that. And they didn't really have a good sales process. It was like go meet with the client and get some information, get some pictures, and then email them the proposal later with the price. Their pricing was all out of whack. I mean, they were giving discounts with the more volume that you got. So it was basically incentivized. Like if it was like 0 to 30 lights, you get this price, 30 to 50 lights, you get this price. And then more lights, goes down. And I'm like, wait, that's like, I don't understand that. Like, why would you give a volume discount? That's like saying, well, if the wealthy you are, I'm going to charge you less, but the poor people who live in smaller houses, I'm going to charge more. Like that's the way I view it. And I know there's different, different ways to look at that, but that's the way I view it. I'm like, I'm not going to charge people more because they have a bigger house because they can afford it, but I am going to charge them more because they have a bigger house and it requires more lights, which is more work, right? But it's not like I'm like, oh, I see a $500,000 car in the front yard, so now I'm going to charge $800 a light instead of $400 a light. I don't do that. Like they're going to get the same price as somebody else, but yeah, they're going to pay more because they have a shit ton more lights, right? And so it was just a good conversation because they actually thought they were good with pricing. That was like they're like, you know what? Like, what do you guys need the most help with? And they're like, well, we're really good on pricing, but we need some help with sales. And I'm like, no, like they were not good with pricing. So I blew their mind with some of the things we talked about, that how we're going to change their business, and their profits are going to go through the roof, right? And a lot of it is pricing. So you got process, persuasion, pricing, which leads into profitability. Again, this one's huge, you guys. We are business owners. Okay. We're not a nonprofit. We're not charities. Okay. If you want to donate to a charity, then go make a ton of money in your business and then donate it to charity. But don't run and operate your business like a charity because it's a business. Okay. And you need an extreme amount of profit. What happens if it rains tomorrow? What happens if your team walks out on you? What happens if you get sick? What happens if someone gets hurt on the job and there's a lawsuit involved, whatever? Like there's so many risks that we take as business owners. It's insane. And then we operate on these very thin margins. And I've talked to some people, they think they're making way more money than they really are. They're like, oh yeah, I make 50%. And I'm like, well, what was your sales last year? Well, 500,000. All right. So you have 250,000 in the bank. Well, no, because I had to pay this and this and that. Exactly. You didn't make 50%. So you have to make a lot of money, not just for the job today, but to stay in business tomorrow and assume a lot of that risk. And you have to be profitable enough to be able to hire your replacement, which we're almost to hiring a replacement. And so the sales process is critical. Again, like if you're getting 100 leads, and when I say 100 leads, that doesn't necessarily mean 100 appointments, by the way, because a lot of people compare like closing ratios and all this stuff. And like your closing ratio is going to be different than mine because I really pre-qualify. So if I get in front of someone, I'm closing them because I pre-qualified so heavy that I'm only meeting with people who want to buy from me, right? And a lot of people don't pre-qualify. So they might get 100 leads and only get 10 deals. And they're like, man, I don't know what's wrong with my sales process. Their sales process might be fine, but they met with 90 people they shouldn't have. Usually there is something wrong with the sales process too. But okay, so another part of sales, especially in landscape lighting, is design. Okay, I just went this a few months ago to Illy, spent 7 days working on being a better designer. I took Ellie, Mark Carlson's online class. You have to be good at design if you're going to be in this industry. So what are you doing to work on process, persuasion, pricing, profitability, ability to close on the spot, design, networking? We mentioned the referral partners, right? And most people overlook this. Referrals from your existing clients to their friends and family. Who else do they know that wants their life transformed, right? Just ask them. If you don't ask, you're not going to get. Just like my reviews on this. I wasn't hardly getting any reviews. I ask for reviews. People give me reviews. Like, you just have to ask, okay? And it's not 100%, but it is a math equation. Remember, inputs, outputs. The more people I ask for reviews, the more outputs I'm going to get. I stop asking for reviews, the less reviews I'm going to get. Start asking for referrals, you're going to get more referrals. You're not going to get 100%. That's not how this works. But you're going to get better than 0% if you ask, right? And some people are like, okay, yeah, no, I ask for referrals. But I'm not always just talking about referrals to the next, family or friend. That's when you're asking for a referral of like who built their house, who built their pool. Those are huge, you guys. I mean, absolutely huge. I just got a text yesterday. Let's see if I can find it. Ryan, I'm in the hunt for a new landscape lighting contractor. We talked a while back about this home, this address, which I may still need help with. However, I have another project coming up as well. Let's visit after the holiday. And then his name and number. Guys, I sold my business 4 years ago. 4 years ago. I get leads like this, like on the regular. I mean, at least once a month, sometimes more. And that's crazy. Like, I don't even have a lighting business. You know what I mean? And it's all about relationships. It's all about the customer service. It's all about doing the right thing. I mean, when you're doing these things, customers talk. And it's just like I'm asking, like, who built your home? He's probably asking his clients, who did your lighting? Oh, yeah, Ryan at Majestic. Ryan at Majestic. Ryan at Majestic. Ryan at Majestic. We should make a rap song. Chris Applestock, can you help me? Ryan at Majestic. But this is so important, you guys. If you're not working on referral partners, you're missing out, and you're never going to get long-term momentum. Okay, so we got marketing plus sales. We're going to go fast now. Then we got it divide by operations and customer service. Operations. So operations, we got installation, maintenance, process, checklist, purchasing, answering the phones, HR, payroll, innovation, recruiting, training, retention. It's a lot. Write it down, because if you can write these things down and check them off one at a time, you're going to have the freedom formula. Installation, maintenance, process, checklist, purchasing, answering phones, HR, payroll, innovation, recruiting, training, retention. Okay. Some of you are really good at installation, but the rest like goes out the window. Some of you are really good at your processes, right? But you suck at recruiting. Some of you are good at recruiting, but you don't have the good processes, whatever it is, right? So find your area of weakness and work, solve the problem. Solve the problem. I just went to Texas a couple months ago now, and I found a lot of broken things, a lot of broken systems that I helped create years ago that just haven't been managed, right? And so having those check-ins on your company are crucial, right? So obviously I don't own the business anymore. I wasn't going back to do that. We're going back to make some training videos and stuff, but I just noticed it. I'm like, telling my brother, like, what do you do? What about this? What about this? Like, oh yeah, we'll do a better job. But Just do it, you guys. You've got to nail down these things. And when you do that, you're one step closer to freedom. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I did plan a gift card giveaway. So we're going to do that right now. And then we're going to finish the freedom formula. So if you're here live, this is your chance, you guys, to get paid money on the 4th of July. So if you're ready, let's go. Gift card giveaway. All right, guys, it's everyone's favorite time of the show. I don't know if that's true or not, but sounds good. Okay, so here's the question. You just have to be the first person to answer this correctly. Oh, man, I forgot. I was going to play some cool sounds today for some other stuff. Anyway, so here's the question. First person to answer it correctly, according to what I think is the answer, is going to win a gift card. I'm going to hook you up just to celebrating our freedoms. And you can buy whatever you want because you are free. So here's the question. Measured in foot candles or lux, blank is a measurement of the amount of light falling on or hitting a surface. When you know the answer, be the first to type it in the comment box. So, measured in foot candles or lux, blank is a measurement of the amount of light falling on or hitting a surface. I see we got some people live on, so don't be afraid to guess and be wrong. And here's a hint. You cannot see it. You cannot see it. And another hint is we had this question a while back, but it wasn't this question. It was a similar question, and there's two very close terms, and it's the other term if you're a fan of the show. So, all right. So measured in foot candles or lux, blank is a measurement of the amount of light falling on or hitting a surface. And the hint is you cannot see it. All right. We got some guesses coming in. Not too late to guess if you still want to guess. All right. So the answer, congratulations to Mr. Derek Coy from LinkedIn. Good job, buddy. It is illuminance. So illuminance is what we're going for. And there's illuminance is, again, you can't see it. It's the amount of light that's being spread to a surface, right? And then luminance is the measurement of light that's reflected off a surface. So you can actually see luminance because that's what's reflected. So here's why it matters, and here's why I like this question is, and by the way, Derek, we're going to hook you up. So if you'll shoot me a message on LinkedIn, however you want to get a hold of me, or just email me, support@ryanleecoaching.com. Get me your info. Give me your address. We will hook you up. So thanks for playing, man. And congratulations. So, but here's why it matters. You can have the same amount of illuminance coming out of a fixture. You have the same exact illuminance coming from a fixture, and it hits a white surface next to a dark surface. And the white surface is going to have a higher luminance than the darker surface, right? So illuminance is the amount of light hitting it, which is going to be the exact same, but because that white is more reflective, it's going to have a higher luminance than the dark surface. So it's important to understand this because you're going to have lighting designs pretty much every job where this is a factor, where you might think, well, I'm going to use the same thing. But if the surface isn't exactly the same, you might have to increase or decrease the lumens on a particular fixture. So good reminder. I mean, I had to look this stuff up. I get confused between those two all the time, luminance or illuminance. So I was like, I'm writing this down because I don't want to screw this up. But yeah, illuminance you cannot see. And it can be the same illuminance, but luminance will vary depending on if it's a darker or lighter surface. So, all right. Well, congratulations, Derek. We will hook you up. Just get us your info so we can send that to you. All right. So let's go back to the freedom formula. By the way, if you're here live, let me know, are you enjoying this? Is this good stuff? Do you have any questions? Do you want to get on the phone I forgot to check, see if anyone texted me. Do you want to get on the phone and discuss it live on the show for just a few minutes? And if you don't, that's cool too. All right. So we talked about marketing. We've talked about sales. We've talked about operations. Now let's talk about the second to last portion of the Freedom Formula, which is customer service. You guys, I hate to break it to you, but as much as we love lighting, we are in the customer service industry. That's it. We're in the customer service industry. We just happen to design, install, and be passionate about landscape lighting. Okay. We really, if you don't understand that, that might be one of the reasons why you're not getting tons of referrals and you're not getting texts that I'm still getting. I get these texts 4 years after I sold my business, you guys. I mean, I get leads from people. Hey, you did our house a while back. We just moved. We're ready for another one. So obviously I sent them to my brother, but like, you guys, that didn't come from having crappy customer service. Okay. I bent over backwards for these people, and probably too much in some cases, right? But customer service, let's break that down. Inbound leads. So who's answering the emails, the phone calls? I told you the story about how I was missing phone calls, calling people back. And I had a lady that decided to not even have me come out and give her a quote because I didn't answer her original phone call, even though I called her back about an hour later. At the time, our average job was only $5,000, but still that cost me $5,000. Okay. That's bad customer service. And then I started doing the math. Well, how many other calls did I miss? You know, and how many other people didn't answer their phone when I called them back? 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. All of a sudden I added up. I'm like, that's like 60 G's that I know of. So now all of a sudden, instead of saying, well, I can't afford to hire someone, I can't afford not to hire someone. It's like my coaching, you guys. I've had people tell me I can't afford it. And I hate hearing that because what does that mean? Like whether it's my coaching or another coaching program or advertising, to say you can't afford it does not make sense. It's not that you can't afford it. You can't afford not to do it. Right. So you can't afford not to give this top tier customer service. You have to have someone in place to do this if you want to scale, which is the next step. Right. So follow up, like Chuck said, fortune is in the follow up. How many times are you following up with people? Maybe you're not even following up with previous leads. I've had people say they don't have time to follow up, but they're going on a new lead. Like that doesn't make sense. Why would you try to go on a new lead when you haven't followed up with all your previous leads? If you have, you know, over the last 12 months, 10 to 50 people that just haven't gotten back to you, follow up with them right now. I guarantee you're going to get a deal. That's how good follow-up is, right? And here's the crazy thing. I had people when I'd follow up with them, they were pretty honest. And they're like, man, you've been following up like crazy. Yes, sir. Well, I'm just going to be honest with you. Your pricing was insane. I'm like, thank you. Right. And they would say, you know what? We really liked you, but we hated your price. Thank you. I've heard that before. And honestly, we were kind of hoping to go with someone else, but you were the only one that followed up. The only one that followed up. They had to go with me, you guys. They didn't want to go with me. They had to. They wanted lighting. They needed lighting. And there was only one person that was disciplined enough to follow up. Right. And I didn't even have all these automations and stuff that's existing now. Really cool technology. Definitely deploy that. It was just me like texting, calling, and emailing back. Right. And that follow up, I'm telling you guys, is huge because it not only gets you that job, but then they appreciate it so much, they're going to do more work with you because your customer service is top tier, right? And follow up, that's just one version of follow up. What about following up with your existing clients who've already paid you money and you've already, you know, a lot of people just like, heck yeah, I got paid. Let's move on to the next. Where do I find my next $10,000, right? Well, what if you followed up with everyone 2 weeks after you'd already taken their money? Hey, just want to do a quick check-in. How are things going? What if you did it 90 days after? What if you did it 6 months after? What if you just did it every quarter? Hey, just want to make sure things are going good for you guys. Not a sales pitch, not to announce a special, just checking in on you. That is cool. And those people will say, hey, we're glad you called. We just had some people over for the 4th of July and our front of the house looks great. But yeah, it would have been nice to have some lights in the backyard. In fact, we had some people fill in the pool. We want some lighting. Oh, yep, sure. Happy to help you. So got to have the follow-up. How about your service? Okay, the level of service while on the job, maintenance plans. I'm telling you guys, customer service is key, and too many people just overlook this, right? Again, we're in the customer service business. We just happen to design and install lighting. So it's literally the only way to ensure you stay in business. I had a guy actually one time that we were doing the lighting across the street, and then he's like, "Hey, can you come over here and give me a quote?" And he's just this. It could just tell it wasn't going to work out. You know, you have your dream clients, and then you have these other guys where you're just like, it's just I don't even know how to talk to this guy. Like he's just kind of rude and arrogant, whatever. But I was talking to him, and he's like, "Well, how much does this cost?" I'm like, "Well, it just depends on what you want and everything else." "Well, how much did theirs cost?" And I told him whatever the number was. I don't remember what it was. "Oh my gosh, that's insane! You can't charge that for lighting. You're ripping those guys off and this and that." And he told me, he's like, I've been in business. I've been doing this, whatever. I can't remember what he did, but he was telling me how awesome he was. And he's like, I'm just telling you, man, charging those prices, you're not going to be in business another 12 months. And I'm like, I love it. Those types of statements fire you up, don't they? But here's the deal. What he was very wrong with. If I wasn't charging those prices, he was right. I probably wouldn't have lasted 12 months. The only reason I stayed in business longer than 12 months is because I was charging a premium price, because I could afford to give the red carpet white glove experience to my clients. Too many people can't afford to do that red carpet white glove. You can't afford this top tier customer service, and that sucks. But that's not your customer's fault. That's your fault. A lot of people complain about their whiny customers. Oh, they need this and they need that. Why not come up with a solution and give it to them? See, I'll just give that to my clients and I charge them for it. And there's no problem with that, right? I charge that premium price to be able to deliver the red carpet white glove experience. So don't complain about your customers. Complain about your own process, your own systems, right? And fix it. I'm telling you, the people who can fix things faster are going to have more freedom. And that is so true in so many different facets. So make sure that you solve problems instead of complain about this. Your customers are always saying the same thing. That just is a unique identifier. Okay, well, now you know what you need to work on. Just fix that problem, right? And I love that guy told me that, because I was just like, heck yeah, dude. Like we're on the right track here. We got people thinking we're going out of business. All right, guys. So the final portion of the freedom formula, marketing plus sales divided by operations plus customer service. That's really like huge, all that stuff. But now if you want ultimate freedom, some of you have some pretty good freedom. Like you're doing pretty good on some of those things, and hopefully you've identified today some areas that you can work on, and go do it, go fix it. But if you want ultimate freedom, then you got to times it by scale. You have to times it by scale. This is when you go next level. This is when you go from business owner to entrepreneur, someone who really is not a business operator. Okay. So scaling is, seriously, like your freedom is directly proportional to your ability to scale. The higher this number is, the more freedom you have. Remember, our formula is times by scale. So if you times it by 1, like whoop-de-doo, that literally didn't change the formula. Times by 2, now we're double. Times by 3, 4, 5. Like this is why you need to scale. If you can't replace yourself in all areas of your business, you'll never have true freedom, right? You might have temporary freedom, but so identify who is your next hire. What does your accountability chart look like? What do you hate doing? Okay, even if you're good at it. I had a client one time, and he was a client, so he was buying a lot of lighting, right? And paying our premium prices. So he was doing well. He had a framing business, a very successful framing business. And I was talking to him, anytime I had someone like this in front of me, I tried to pick their brain, like, hey, what'd you do here? What'd you do there? And they didn't know it, but they were my mentors, right? I got so much value from having these people as customers. And one day he told me, he goes, you know what? My goal is to make $100 per day per team member. So think about that. If your goal is to just profit $100 per person every single day. Well, if you're a small business and you only have 2 team members, well, then you're only going to make $200. So the hard part about that is you have to charge, let's say you're like, well, I want to make $3,000 in a day. Well, that means you have to make $1,500 per person. And like, can you charge those rates? I mean, I'm always telling you to raise your price, but can you charge that much? Like, I don't know, right? But this guy did it different. And it was really cool because it was just $100 a day per person. Like, how hard is that? Right? You could do that, right? And he had 30 team members. So his math is easy. His equation, his freedom formula was like 30 team members times 100 is $3,000 per day. That's $15,000 a week, $60,000 a month. That's it, right? And so if he wants to double that, if he wants to make $6,000 a day, then he just needs more team members. He's just got to grow his company. He's got to scale to 60 people times 100 a day. And that is what scale allows you to do. It allows you to simplify things and solve these problems. It's really, really hard running a business with just a few people, because if you have 3 legs on a chair and you lose one of those legs, what happens? Right? You're going down. It doesn't work anymore. And I found myself in that situation. We had one install crew. And then because we weren't good at managing and culture, the install crew left. Like, not one of them, but all of them. And when that install crew leaves, there's no business. Like, it's back to me doing the installs, right? So if you have multiple install teams and one gets all pissy or whatever, it's fine. You still have another one, right? It also creates competition. When I hired my first sales guy, I immediately started looking for a second, because now there's competition. And again, there's redundancy. So if you lose one, it buys you time to get the next. When I got an office manager, started looking for a receptionist. And this was all learned, you guys. Like, it was learned because when my office manager took a week off, guess who was back to being office manager and answering the phones? Yes, this guy. I did not like that because I did not have freedom. I had not replaced myself in all areas of the business. So I hired a receptionist. So when the office manager was gone, the receptionist could take over. And when the receptionist was gone, the office manager could answer the phone, right? So you've got to have redundancy in your business. And that's what scale is. And I'm telling you guys, just by experience and this landscape lighting secrets, you're about to see, you guys. I'm in the process, and it's not been perfect process. I hire 3 people and they don't work out. And then I finally get that person, it goes into place. But I'm not giving up. I don't give up. I don't stop. And so you're going to see one day I'm going to be owner of this business. Right now, I'm still in it. I'm with you, right? But I'm telling you, it's going to go times by scale. And that's the only way to get true freedom. And then you get to do whatever you want. You get to do whatever you want. And if you want to go install lights, then go install lights. I'm not here to tell you what to do. You do what you want to do. You want to go design, you want to go meet with clients. That's fun stuff. I love it too, right? Like the coaching part of my program, I love. Like, I don't like doing the business side of it. Like, I don't want to do that. That's why I hired my new integrator, right? But I love the events. I love the trainings. I love all these different things, right? So I'm going to give you guys the top 4 things you should do, the priority to replace yourself. So there's really kind of 4 areas 4 things to consider when replacing yourself. So what are the things that you're good at and you enjoy doing? So you could literally just make a box for each of these, right? So write down this. You are good at it and enjoy doing it. That's pretty awesome, right? Then write down you are good at and don't enjoy. So there's things that you're good at, but you just don't enjoy it, right? And then write down you are not good at. So things that you're not good at, but you enjoy doing it. There's just some things that we're not good at, but we like it, you know? And then write down you're not good at it and don't enjoy it. So you're not good at it and don't enjoy it. So those are kind of it. You could literally, every task that comes up in your day, you could put it into one of these boxes, right? You're either good at it and enjoy doing it, or you're not good at it and don't enjoy it, or the middle options, right? So how do you determine who to hire first? How do you determine which box to replace, right? So there's a lot of different perspectives here, but here's what I would do. The number one thing that I do when I go, okay, I need to replace myself, right? The first box I do is the box that's you're good at and don't enjoy doing. Now, why that one? Well, a lot of people are tempted to do the next one, which is you're not good at it and don't enjoy it, because you're like, well, you're not good at it and you don't enjoy it. So obviously you should get someone else. And yes, you should get someone else. But the reason why that's not the first one is because I've seen this happen where people try to replace themselves with that one the first time and it doesn't work. And then they get frustrated and they're like, see, it's not worth it. I'll just do it myself. And then the problem is you just haven't had enough momentum. You haven't seen success. So the best one to start with is actually something that you're good at. And the reason why this matters is if you're trying to teach someone something that you're not good at, then you're not a very good teacher. So it's no wonder why it doesn't work out. So if you can start with the things that you're good at, then you can actually teach them because you're good at it. So, you may not have like written down a process or something like that, but they can help you with that. If you're good at it, then you're going to be better at teaching it, and they're going to learn better because of it. So don't start with the one that you're not good at and don't enjoy. Start with the one that you are good at, right? And I know that seems a little bit counterintuitive, but you got to trust me on this. Start with the one that you're good at and don't enjoying. Obviously, if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. We'll start with that one. Then the second one is the one. This one's hard because you're not good at it and don't enjoy it. So if you're not good at it, it is a little bit harder to teach because you're not good at it. So how are you going to teach someone who's good at it if you're not good at it? So it's a little bit complicated, but I like it as a second one because you've already proven to yourself that you can replace yourself. You can already, you've shown yourself that it can be done. So when you stumble here, okay, and this is why I've tried to hire assistants. I've tried to hire integrators, salespeople, all sorts of things for this business, right? And this is the hardest one, things that I'm not good at and I don't enjoy. Because when it comes to training them, I'm like, I kind of suck at it because I'm not good at it, right? It's the hardest one. But I started with the ones that I'm good at and don't enjoy. Then you go to you're not good at it and don't enjoy. And then the third one is something that you're not good at, but enjoy doing it. All right. So there's things that you're like, oh, I enjoy doing it. But if you're not good at it, someone else should be doing it, even if you enjoy it. Right. And then the last one, which honestly, you could stay here if you want. If you're good at it and enjoy doing it, and you've replaced yourself in all areas of the business and it doesn't rely on you, and you've mastered the freedom formula, do this. That's what you should do. So that's what I recommend in terms of priority. So, and after all, you guys, why be a business owner if you can't enjoy the benefits of being a business owner, right? I mean, some of you guys are so terrible to yourselves. You're such bad bosses. The negative talk and the hours you make yourself work and the crazy stuff you put yourself through, you're really just a terrible boss to yourself. And you're not enjoying the ride. You need to really enjoy the benefits of being a business owner if you're going to be a business owner. So, and by the way, before I close, I do want to state, if you're not a business owner, let's say you work for a lighting company or you're thinking of starting one or whatever it is, this can still apply to you. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. Okay. It isn't for everyone. And yes, I might try to talk you out of starting your own business. Instead of being an entrepreneur, be an intrapreneur. Entrepreneurs love entrepreneurs, and an intrapreneur is different because an entrepreneur is like someone working inside the business, but they take on the personality of like owning their own domain. They own their position. They own what they do, right? And you can own your own business per se and still work for someone, right? Own that domain, take control of your own situation. It's actually the best situation to be in because you don't take on all the risk and all the stress of owning your own business. And I'm telling you, I've had people that work for me that are entrepreneurs. They have that itch and they have some of the ability, but they don't really want to take on all that risk and all the stress. So if that's you, talk to the business owner and tell them, I want to be your entrepreneur. I want to be here and I want to help you scale this business, right? Because the owner has to take on so much stress and so much risk. And I'm just telling you, I've seen people try to start businesses because they see their friends do it or they see it, they think it's glamorous or whatever. And then there's a lot of regret and a lot of wasted time and they're torturing themselves trying to make it work. And in reality, they should have just, in a sense, partnered with someone, gotten a job with someone so that they can go home by 5. They don't have to work weekends. They don't have to stress. They don't have to deal with the BS clients. They don't have to do all that stuff, right? And so a lot of this stuff can apply to you. You're just not an entrepreneur. You're an intrapreneur. So want to share that with you guys. So I hope you guys got value out of this episode. So that's the freedom formula. Again, it's marketing plus sales divided by operations and customer service times by scale. It's simple when you break it down. Okay. And by the way, we went through a lot of stuff. It's not a flip of a switch. So go through, find the things you're good at, find the things you're not good at, find the things you enjoy doing, find the things you don't enjoy doing, and replace yourself, right? Work on these things. Find the problems in your business, create solutions, and you're there. Okay. It's not a flip of a switch. So be patient. Put yourself a plan together and say, okay, in 6 months, I want to do this. 12 months, I want to be here. Every quarter, do these check-ins, right? And what's your 5-year plan? What do you want to do? Where do you want to be? If you're not writing this stuff down, you're not going to get there, because where are you going, right? No one knows. So you've got to write these things down. And by the way, I'm going to tell you one more time. If you want to reach out, if you're feeling the love and you want to reach out for your free strategy session, and you're thinking, hey, maybe this coaching thing would be good for me. The accountability is great. There's a lot of awesome stuff about the program. Just go to landscapelightingsecrets.com, schedule a free strategy session with me. And happy Independence Day, Mike Long. Congratulations, Derek Coy, for winning the gift card giveaway. Want to thank you guys. It's cool to see that there's people here live. I thought I was the only one without a life, but you guys are awesome. Don't forget, go donate at our GoFundMe. I put the link in the comments, and just really appreciate you guys. So here's your action items. 5-star review for me. GoFundMe. Go register for the GoFundMe for the Seva.org. We're getting 100 donations for our 100th episode. Go donate, go do that. Sign up for the Haven Lighting thing. Sign up for the Lights for Decorators thing. It's in here. And then go work on your business. Implement the Freedom Formula. And then after that, I know these are a lot of to-do items for a holiday. Shit, sorry. I didn't even know I was going to do all this. This is a lot. So maybe after the holiday, after tonight, go party, have fun, just be free, independence. But then come back to this episode, write all this stuff down, and then check in with me in a month and tell me what areas you've worked on in your business to get closer to solving the Freedom Formula to get freedom in your life. So appreciate all you guys. Love you so much. Have a great holiday. Go blow some shit up, and we'll see you guys next week.